Okay, you are ready to go.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to open the, the public hearing on the town warrant article for 2022.
Second?
All those in favor? Katie?
Aye. Aye.
Larry? Edmund?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay.
Charlie, I'm an aye.
Okay. The polls will be opening from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. To the inhabitants of the town of Newton, New Hampshire, in the county of Rockingham, and said state qualified to vote in town affairs, you are hereby notified to meet for the first session of the annual meeting, which shall be for the explanation, discussion, and debate of each warrant article and transaction of all business other than voting by official ballot, to be held at the Newton Town Hall on Saturday, February 5th, 2022 at 9 a.m. The second session will be held at the Newton Fire Station, 8D Merrimack Road in said Newton, on Tuesday, the 8th day of March next at 8 o'clock in the forenoon, to choose all necessary town offices for the ensuing year by official ballot, and to vote on all issues before the town of Newton on the official ballot. The polls to be open at 8 o'clock in the forenoon and close not earlier than 8 o'clock in the evening. To all necessary town offices for the ensuing year shall the... Well, want me going with this, Matt?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Shall the voters of Newton authorize the planning board to create an annual update CIP capital improvements program in accordance to New Hampshire RSA 674:5. The planning board does recommend this article 7-0. Okay, that's 1 and 2. Number 3, did you want to do 3, Matt? Or you
Well,
want me to keep going?
I can do number 3. So the first, well, number 3 is the budget. So shall the town of Newton raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant, or as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $4,375.00. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $3,997,853.00, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town of Newton or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40, 13, 10, and 15 to take up this issue of a revised operating budget only. The estimated budget increase from the 2021 actual budget to the 2020 proposed budget represents a tax impact increase of 47.1 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. Default budget would result in an estimated tax impact increase of 46.7 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. I was told there would be no math tonight, but as apparently so. So that's warrant article number 3, which is the budget. So, the proposed operating budget.
I go next?
No, I think Charlie's got to make the motion. I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Not the motion, but you have to call for a motion. Is that how we normally do it?
Well, do you have any public input?
Oh, true, yeah.
That's why they're here.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a question.
That's Roger Hamel.
Yes, it is. Just on how the default budget is calculated. Specifically, in the policeman's budget, it appears as though you added a policeman, because the salary budget went up by $119,000. I assume that's to cover the school resource officer. But why does that new position also end up in the default?
Because it's under contract, right?
Yeah. By the way, it's not just the salary. By the way, the salary line items, I believe, went up in every budget, right?
Yeah,
Because,
right, yeah, but I mean, this one was big.
but yes, that would be a contractual agreement, so I would think that's why that is calculated in the default.
So you could, if you add personnel in one year, their salaries goes into the next default budget?
I believe that is the
contract,
case, yeah.
So there's really, the voters have no effective way of restraining, increasing your staff in any places.
Well, we typically do changes to salaries towards the end of the year, and then we put that in the next year's budget, yeah. We've always done that, yeah.
I'm not really concerned about the regular raises. It just seems like the way that the default is, I mean, if you could choose to add 5 people to the transfer station and that would end up in the default budget?
If it's voted in the previous year, it's contractual.
It's contractual, right.
Yeah, by definition of what the default budget is.
Yeah, so the voters really get no way of effectively controlling that.
I don't know about that. But
When you review the budgets, the public is welcome to come to the meetings and discuss any of the budgets that are being presented.
But this is the default, which they don't get to talk about.
yeah, that's a legislature question, I think. We happen to have our state rep here, too.
See, I have a problem too, to be honest with you. It says, this is in the SRO agreement. It's not a contract, it's an agreement. Effective date, duration, and modification of agreement. The agreement shall be in effective as of date of signing. The agreement shall be reviewed annually prior to the start of a school year. This agreement remains in full force and effect until amended or until such time as either parties withdraw from this agreement by delivering written notice to the other party. To me, being in real estate, a contract that has a beginning and it has an end. This don't. This is not a contract. So as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be put in the budget. It should have been a separate line item to let the people of the town make the decision. This is $116,000 more. And the police department budget last year was $741,000, and they gave back $47,000. Why do they need $905? That's the problem I have with this. So I'm in agreement with Roger. Because tomorrow, we could turn around, write a letter, 3 selectmen could sign it, and we're out.
Right.
That's not a contract, that's just an agreement.
No, that's a contract with an option, a mutual option.
Then, man, it should say contract versus agreement.
Yeah, splitting hairs.
Yeah, I know we're splitting hairs, but still,
No,
again.
you're splitting hairs right now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. I think a mutual option is a good thing, and the fact of the matter is, if we decide to get out of this, the money goes back to the town and we don't do it the next year, so.
true. But what happens is the voters this year are paying for it out of their pocket, and grant you, a percentage of it's coming back. Not all of it, a percentage.
80%,
No,
yeah, 80%.
still paying, the town of Newton is still paying 38%.
Where do you get that number from,
Because
Charlie?
40% from the San Juan Regional High School. Don't you think we don't pay that? That's not just Kingston, that's us and Kingston.
Right, but, so tonight, we're on the Board of Selectmen, and what we control is the budget we control tonight. You're talking about a school board issue.
Correct. That's why I'm saying, they're controlling our money, we can't control our money. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So technically, we're paying 38% of this whole deal.
Where do you get that number from?
We pay, because Newton pays 20%, the
Well,
SRO pays 40,
Newton-
San Juan Regional School District pays 40.
No, so
Yes, that's the way it is.
80% of the salary will be coming back from Sanborn to the town of Newton. Okay, that's a check over the course of 2 payments
But we
will be
already
coming
spent
back.
the money to get the money back.
Right,
We're
but then
spending
we
the money
use,
getting it back, so
but the money we get back, we can put in a salary line item for next year to spend it on the 2023 SRO.
well, I'm not saying that we couldn't do that, but I'm just saying that I don't agree with this. I haven't agreed with it from the beginning.
I do have another question on that. When the money comes back,
Yep,
Goes
is
to
it
the
going
general
to
fund.
end up in the unspent balance?
correct. So then we would need a warrant article in 2023 to take it out of there and apply it to the salary line item for next year's budget. So essentially, we're fronting that portion of the salary for the first year, and then we're taking the money from the school to forward this from year after year. So the salary line item will be lowered by that amount for the years going forward.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So tonight, the board needs to decide whether they're going to recommend this article or not.
Yeah, any other questions on the budget? It's funny, we always seem to focus on one thing in the whole budget. That's a $4 million budget. The last couple meetings, it's always come back to the same thing.
Jamie Fitzpatrick, Newton. I just want to mention what Mr. Hamill was saying about the townspeople and if they have any say in anything. Their say can be executed on February 5th during the deliberative. If townspeople don't like what's in the budget, they can amend the budget at the deliberative, and that will be what will go on the ballot. So that would be how they'd have it. But I don't have anything in particular on this. I'm still looking at the numbers.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks.
But Jamie, what they're saying, Jamie, is that it's a contract, so you've got to still put the money there no matter what. You can't take the money out of that particular item, because supposedly this is a contract. I don't think it's a contract, but they think it's a contract.
Why didn't we discuss this like a month ago?
I know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and again, I'm not advocating this, I'm just trying to understand. Citizens could come in on the 5th and say, I don't like this, I make a motion to withdraw $120,000 from the budget, couldn't they? And if that passed the deliberative, the budget that would go on the ballot would be $120,000 less than what we're looking at, wouldn't it?
Right, right.
But then he's going to have to take that 120,000 from somewhere else.
Well, it could be,
Yeah.
but that'd be how they'd
pay for this.
exercise their,
You could do that too from, like, I'm just throwing it out there because it comes to mind, but cable television, right? Is this a horrible example? But we have agreements, we have contracts for other services in town that also get sort of caught up in this default budget definition, that people could also vote to alter the budget on February 5th at the deliberative. It's not just one thing. For some reason this year it seems to be a focus lately, but
Well, this is $200,000 more,
where do you get $200,000 from?
because he had $741,000 in his budget last year. He gave us back 47 he didn't spend, and now it's 905. That's a $200,000 increase to me.
Right, there were raises. Yeah, it's hard to maintain police officers, or retain, I should say.
Bad excuse. Okay,
Working wage.
how does the board feel about this?
So
Great.
I would move to, I always forget how we word these, but I would move to recommend as a board warrant article number 3 as written.
Okay, roll call vote. Kate?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edmund?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm a no. Okay, Evan, you want to do the next one?
Yeah, sure. Warrant article number 4, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,200 to be deposited into the Engineering and Renovation Capital Reserve Fund created in 2015. Said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance. This represents the rental fees received at 8 Merrimack Road. The article would result in no increase in the amount to be raised by taxes.
I'll second that.
You need,
Well, you have to make a motion.
Oh, I thought he was.
probably, you
The
should
mo-
probably take public input.
Public input on this one.
All right.
This
now
is
you can make-
this is the rent, right? I always
Yeah.
say this is
Yep.
this is banking, right? It's in the
Yeah.
capital reserve. We're taking it out so we can use it.
Yeah, that's all.
Motion
You need to give the public their opportunity at least,
Right.
okay? All right, so
So,
motion to have the Board of Selectmen recommend this article.
I'll second.
All those in favor, Kate?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Did you want to do one, Larry?
Yeah, I'll try number 5 here if I can see it on my phone. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $157,000 to be deposited into the town building capital reserve fund created in 2006 for the purpose of maintaining maintenance, repairs, and construction of town buildings. Said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance.
Okay, and this article would result in no increase in the amount to be raised by taxes.
Correct, sorry, yes.
Public input?
a motion. Yep.
Sir?
Joe Simone, I just want to say I'm glad we're starting to take some of this money from the unaffected balance to put towards something and get some of these problems that we have taken care of. It's a long time in coming, and I applaud everybody for doing that.
Thank you, Joe.
Motion, if there's no other, oh, Jamie, sorry.
Jamie Fitzpatrick Newton, just for clarity's sakes, when it said there is no amount to be raised by taxes, the 157 would be in lieu of lowering taxes though, right? Otherwise, the unfunded balance would go back to the taxpayers. So this is in lieu of lowering taxes, correct?
Well, this is a portion of what's there. So this represents the rest of the sale of the old fire station.
Yeah.
So the thought was if we take that amount out, we could apply it to what we talked about is like what Joe's talking about, these projects. But there's still money in the fund balance that we would in November or December or whenever, we would use what's there if we want to decrease the tax impact for people, we would still be able to do that.
So another question, 157,000 is very specific. Do you have some projects in mind that's going to? I mean, normally it's a more rounded number. 157 would indicate maybe you've already got some designs as to what you're going to apply it to.
That was just because that's what the check was or the rest of the check that came back to the town.
Well,
So just to clarify.
52,000 is what's remaining, and from, was it 52 or 57? 57, I think, 57.2 was left over. So we started the warrant article just taking that to go into the fund, into the capital reserve account. But then we talked about all the other buildings, the police station, different things need to be done. So we asked the board to consider maybe another 100,000 to help fix some of the problems that we've had. Because we put 300,000 into a warrant article last year for all the town buildings, and the amendment was made to use it for the code life safety things at the fire station. So we're trying to get some money to do some of the other buildings this year.
It would be helpful for the public to just, if you had some ideas of what those are, like the library
Well,
roof,
one of them,
whatever they
Jay-
are, to just specify, that'd be helpful.
Jamie, one of them is reside the fire station and close off them sliders upstairs.
You mean the
And put
police
windows in.
station?
Huh?
Police station.
Yeah,
Police, I'm sorry, police station.
fire station's brand new.
Police station, reside the police station, because it's all rotted all around there, and there's insects and mice getting in there and everything else. So we should take care of our buildings
The
while we got the
metal
money.
outside too is rusting.
But point taken, we typically, we're only limited with so much room on the warrants, but typically we do have other information available on the website,
Right.
which we could talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I
And
just think it'd be helpful.
exactly, and people should know this is non-lapsing, right? So whatever we don't use this year, we can continue to use, so.
Okay, we didn't take a vote on that yet.
Yes, sir, 1 second.
You second it?
No, Joe needs to.
Unrelated, but can someone tell me what the unexpended fund balance is on hand?
I don't have this year's number yet because the auditors are just starting to work on that portion, but it's over 2 million.
Yeah, I remember when, when we're setting the tax rate, I think we're in the neighborhood of 3.
No, I don't think it's quite that high.
I thought it was
And a lot of, there's some,
2.6.
That sounds right, actually.
there's some of
2.4 to
it that's
2.6.
already
Yep.
assigned, we can't spend.
Yep, yep.
Sorry, but I have another question. I read in the paper last week, the week before, that we're getting a bunch of money back from the state.
Yes, but that has to be, that has to be related to COVID.
No, it's something.
You're talking about the meals and room revenue of
real-
114,000?
Yes, we're getting another 104,000.
No, I think it was 300 and something, I thought it was.
Yeah, that's the total meals and rooms tax that we received.
Oh, okay.
And it's about 116,000 higher this year than last year, huh?
No, no, no.
that's
He was thinking of another one.
No.
What fund is that going to?
That's the revenue, right, to offset the taxes?
The rooms and meals?
Yes.
That is used to offset last year's taxes.
Last year's tax.
Yes,
Oh, okay, state's giving money.
yes. And we get that every year, so we don't,
Yeah, there was a big increase. The state gave you another 100, and the House gave you another 116,000.
Any other public input? Motion to have the Board of Selectmen recommend this article.
Second?
Roll call vote. Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edmund?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Katie, do you want to do number 6?
Sure. Okay, it's a long one.
Yep.
Here we go. Shall the town modify and expand the purpose of the inspector fees revolving fund to include paying for all aspects of the building safety department? This would include, but not be limited to, 30% or more of the code enforcement officer's salary and up to 100% of the equipment and supplies needed for the operation of the building safety department. 90% of permit fees from the building inspector, plumbing inspector, and electrical inspector, and 100% of permit fees from the road inspector and health inspector will be deposited into this fund. The money in the fund shall be allowed to accumulate from year to year and shall not be considered part of the town's unassigned fund balance. The town treasurer shall have custody of all monies in the fund and shall pay out the same only upon the order of the governing body, and no further approval is required by the legislative body to expend. This revolving fund was established in 2015 for the purpose of paying inspector fees for permits. This article would result in no increase in the amount of to be raised by taxes.
Public input? Want to make a motion, Katie?
Move to accept the warrant article number 6 as written.
Second?
Friendly amendment, recommend.
yes.
The key word is recommend.
The Board of Selectmen does recommend, Kate.
And, okay, the Board of Selectmen, motion moved to the Board of Selectmen does recommend this article, number 6.
Second?
Roll call vote. Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edmund?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, number 7. Shall the town modify and expand the purpose of the police Special Detail Revolving Fund to include the purchase or lease of equipment and vehicles for the use in police special detail work. All revenues received for the police special detail will be deposited into the fund, and the money in the fund shall be allowed to accumulate from year to year, shall not be considered part of the town's general fund unreserved fund balance. The town treasurer shall have the custody of all monies in the fund and shall pay out of the same upon order of the governing body, and no further approval is required by the legislative body to expend. Such funds may be expended only for the purpose for which the funds was created. The revolving fund was established in 2007 for the purpose of paying police special detail costs. This article would result in no increase in the amount to be raised by taxes.
Public?
Public input? I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen approve this.
Second.
Friendly amendment, recommend. The word
We
is
just went
recommend.
through that, didn't
Yep,
we?
yep.
What were you using again?
Well, it's right there. You just move that the Board of Selectmen recommend this article. You just kinda, yeah, the key word there being recommend.
Right, I thought I did that. But okay, roll call vote. Katie? Katie?
Katie,
On
you're
mute.
still on mute.
Katie?
There we go. Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, Matt.
So number 8, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, as proposed by the police chief, the sum of $25,000 to be deposited into the police cruisers and equipment capital reserve fund created in 2021 for the purpose of maintenance, repairs, and purchase of cruisers and equipment. This article would result in an estimated .038 increase per $1,000 of assessed value to be raised by taxes.
Public input? Since there's no public input, Matt, you
So
want to make a motion?
I would move that the Board of Selectmen does recommend this article.
Second.
Roll call vote. Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Number 9, to see if the town of Newton will allow the Newton Fire Department to enforce a life safety initiative that would require all building and structure occupied in whole or in part for residential purposes and/or commercial purposes upon the sale, transfer, rental, and/or retail businesses of such building or structure shall be equipped by the seller or owner with approved smoke detectors and approved carbon monoxide detectors as referred in the National Fire Protection Association 72 and 101:RSA 153:10-A and the SAF-C 6000 to include home occupations, home businesses, and accessory apartments before occupancy. All commercial and/or, is that the same? Oh, no. All commercial and/or retail businesses shall be required to have annual life safety inspections as referenced in the National Fire Protection Association 1, 101, 13, and 72. Any fees collected under this selection shall be turned over to the treasurer of the town of Newton and placed into the Uniformed Fire Watch Details revolving fund for the Newton Fire Department established per warrant Article 5 during the 2018 town warrant. The Newton Fire Chief or his/her designee shall enforce the provisions of this town ordinance. Any public input?
Public input?
Here comes Jamie.
Jamie Fitzpatrick, Newton. Do I understand correctly then that any person in town that sells their home that doesn't have these must hire a contractor, an electrician to hardwire and install these as a condition of being able to sell their home in the town?
Kind of how I'm reading it too.
I'm going to probably say yes. but most of them should be done by now already.
No, I can answer that,
Oh, you can
Charlie.
answer that, Larry? Okay.
Yeah, so, is this Jamie Fitzpatrick?
Yeah.
Jamie, so now the fire department goes by the code of when the house was built. So if it's an older house, they can still use battery-operated CO detectors and smoke detectors. They don't have to upgrade. But if you have a new house that's, within the last 10 years, and when they go do their inspection, if there's a smoke detector out, they just tell them to replace it. There's no huge cost. It protects the buyer and it protects the seller of, getting scammed out of a fire alarm system or any life safety code.
Okay, thank you. So battery powered would be okay under that circumstance.
Right, he goes by the code of when the house was built.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public input?
Ziggy, you have anything to say? No. Okay.
Motion to have the Board of Selectmen recommend this article.
Second. Roll call vote. Katie? Katie?
Still thinking.
Oh. Larry?
This is-
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Back to you, Katie?
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
Number 10?
Larry, you want to do number 10? No. Okay. To see if the town will vote, number 10, to see if the town will vote as proposed by the fire chief to raise and appropriate the sum of $75,000 to be placed in the existing capital reserve fund known as the Fire Apparatus and Equipment and Refurbishment Fund, voted in 2011. This article would result in an estimated of 11.5% increase per 1,000 assessed value to raise taxes. And
Point
public
11.
input.
0.11 cents.
Did I? What?
You said 11.5.
Oh, 2011.
No. One's the date. Edvin's talking about the estimated cost per thousand is 0.115.
Yeah, that's 11.5 cents.
Yep, it is, yeah.
Public input again? No public input? Okay. I'll move that the Board of Selectmen recommend this article.
Second?
Roll call vote. Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Evan?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Okay, Matt, you're number 11?
Oh, Kate, did Kate do one?
Yeah, she did one.
Oh, okay.
It's one, yes.
I've been fair.
I didn't know if it was her turn though, but I'll do it.
I just did it, so now it's your turn.
Cool. So number 11, fire alarms. This town ordinance is to regulate the use of fire alarms in the town of Newton and to further regulate and control the false alarms that emanate therefrom. By definition, an alarm is a signaling device of any description which is designed for the purpose of summoning the fire department of the town of Newton. False alarm is an alarm that is activated and that causes the response of the fire department of the town of Newton, where there is no valid cause or reason for the alarm to have been activated, including an alarm that is activated through mechanical failure, malfunction, improper installation, or negligence. An alarm shall not be considered a false alarm where it is activated by an act of God, including but not limited to power outages, hurricanes, earthquakes, and other uncontrollable circumstances. Whenever an alarm is activated by whatever means, with the result that there is a response by the fire department, a record of the alarm shall be made and kept by the fire department of the town of Newton. Whenever 3 or more false alarms are caused within a 12-month period, within the fiscal year January 1 through December 31st, the owners or persons in control of said alarm shall be subject to paying a fine of $150, starting with the 4th occurrence and including each occurrence up to the 6th occurrence. The fine shall be $450, be it a business activation. Starting with the 7th and subsequent occurrences for the remaining fiscal year, the fine shall be $700 for each occurrence thereafter. Any fines imposed and collected under this section shall be turned over to the treasurer of the town of Newton and placed into the Uniform Fire Watch Details Revolving Fund for the Newton Fire Department established per warrant Article 5 during the 2018 town warrant. Any alarm installed subsequent to the effective date of the town ordinance, which is an audible type of alarm, shall be equipped with an automatic shut-off device that will shut off the audible component of the alarm within 30 minutes of the activation.
Larry, did you want to speak on this?
Is there nobody there from the fire department?
Ziggy, do you want to speak on this?
So I could say a couple lines. Basically, he's looking for trying to reduce the false alarms that, for example, Puzzle Lane, I think last week we were down there, they were down there 3 times within a week. So after the 3rd time you strike out, they're gonna send you a bill for whatever amount he is on there to either get your system fixed or you're gonna pay the fines because it costs money for payroll, to run the truck, diesel fuel, for false alarms that are, it's the owner's fault, not the fault of, the building itself. It's neglecting the alarm system that you're not taking care of your system. So after this, if it passes, they'll start taking care of it. I don't think he has anything else.
Guys, is it fair to say the real problem is commercial? It's not really residential, right?
The only residential map would be the Meadowview Apartments. They do some like smoking in the hallway and all that. And
Yeah.
they've been contacted the owner, and we told the owner to install cameras so we can catch who does it. They're not as bad as the commercial property, but they're considered commercial because it's a business. It's the guy collects rent.
Right.
So he would be included in that. Residential's is probably not even 1%, that's not a worry. It's the commercial and then the apartment buildings.
Sounds good.
Anything further, Ziggy?
Yeah, he was down there most of the day. Kept coming back every time.
I read this one, right? So I'm going to move.
I have
Roger?
a question. But my question is, what does the money in the Farm Fire Watch Detail Revolving Fund get spent for?
Funny he should ask, I just looked it up.
Nancy's pulling it up, Roger.
Costs incurred by the town providing the specific service and the income will be deposited. Personnel which require on-site fire personnel and apparatus solely for fire watch purposes as deemed appropriate by the fire chief or his designee. The fee charged will be for the costs incurred by the town providing the specific services. So if you've got somebody there on watch, they're gonna get paid from that fund.
Right, from that account.
But
Yeah,
that's
but
all.
now you're gonna have some additional money going in there. Where is that money gonna get spent? Or
Only
who
for
can
the-
spend it for what?
Only for the same purpose of the article that was written in 2015.
Yeah, but false alarms aren't creating an expense for fire watch.
No, it's not always, that is the uniform fire watch, right?
I mean, it seems like the money's not going in a place that it should go. Maybe they should put it in a different revolving fund.
Yeah, that's where he's putting it, is in that account, and that's all it can be used for. Unless they change or go to town meeting and ask to amend or expand this for other purposes.
Yep.
But right now, that's all it can be used for.
And that's why, Roger, that's why they just leave the money there, so that if next year they have a problem, they'll have the money to pay for it versus turning it around and taking it out of the budget.
Yeah, last.
No, but fire watches are gonna be, the way that the revolving fund was set up, the fire watch gets paid for by the entity that requires the fire watch. If you now put in some false alarm money, you're not gonna have any place that you can spend it.
I don't think.
So, I'm sorry,
I
Nancy.
don't think it's just for the fire alarm specifically. The uniform fire watch details also is situations that compromise the safety of the community, which require on-site fire personnel and apparatus solely for fire watch purposes, as deemed by the fire chief.
So a fire professional can correct me on this, but I believe if we had a business who was setting off a bunch of these false alarms, and they're in the process of rectifying the alarm system that doesn't work properly, I believe they have to get a fire watch to kind of get through until it gets fixed, right? So
that's
what
what
I
it is.
think the chief is trying to do is say, if you're gonna keep doing this, then we're going to assess you and put the money in an account where we can use it. So when we have to send people to help with your correction of this situation, we have money to, but I don't want to speak for him.
And
but-
the assessment's not gonna go on until the third one.
Yeah.
So
So,
Matt, Charlie,
yep,
Charlie,
Do 5:30
Go ahead.
detail.
Charlie, can you hear me?
yep.
So basically, yeah, it is what Matt said, so we're not, say, we're gonna use, I'm gonna use Joey Lane, because I don't wanna use someone who's in town. And it's a commercial building, and the sprinkler system froze, so they have no fire protection, so he puts a truck there with a couple guys. So instead of that coming out of taxpayers' money, we're gonna, he wants to put that in a fund, and that detail will get paid from that fund. And then it revolves, because every time he catches a company that has a fault, that money just saves up and saves up and saves up. So we don't have to spend his current budget or any taxpayers' money on that fire watch or detail to watch that building, if that makes sense to Roger.
But it's not related to false alarms. That's related to losing fire protection and therefore requiring a fire watch.
Correct, it's not related to false alarms.
But now you've got false alarm money, and I don't think you're gonna be able to spend it on anything.
I think what's happening is, there was a time not too long ago where the fire alarm went off, everybody responded, got back to the station, went off again, they responded. That's a lot of money coming out of the taxpayers' budget, so they're trying to find a way to be able to recoup some of the funds to pay these people who have to keep responding at no fault of our own. It's the false alarms that are going off.
But to get the point,
I've got
but
no problem
Roger,
with the basic premise.
Roger.
Yeah.
Roger, so I think what everybody's saying is, if the constant false alarms are a symptom of a problem with the fire protection system. So what happens first is they have a series of the false alarms. Eventually, they admit that they need to do something to their system, but in order to get that fixed, they need a fire watch. Does that make sense?
But if that's the case, then the fire watch would be paid for by the thing that the town did in 2018. I just think that the money that's going for false alarms needs to go into a different revolving fund so that it can be spent for firemen's salaries or whatever.
I think you raise a good point. Is the chief here?
No.
To make sure, like, can exactly what we're saying, which makes sense, that this money that comes out of the alarms be spent in what we want it to be spent out of the uniform fire watch details, which now I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I definitely think the fire chief should look at that more closely and see if he wants to put it in this revolving fund or put it somewhere else.
Bob Marchand, town resident. I think also part of what's going on here with this is, if you really look at it and you're not trying to think that all kinds of money's gonna come in from these false alarms, if you're thinking there's gonna be a lot of money and we're gonna be able to use it for other things, you're sadly mistaken, because what's gonna happen is exactly what this purpose is to stop it from happening, because you're putting the fire department at risk every time they have to go, whether it's a true alarm or a false alarm. So they're trying to alleviate that whole situation. And when a business finds that you're gonna start hitting them in their pocketbook, they are going to correct that situation very quickly. So the amounts of money that are actually gonna come in from these false alarms are gonna be penny.
Yeah.
They're gonna be very minute. So it's gonna be really irrelevant what account you really wanna put this money in, because it's not going to accumulate to all that much to what you might be thinking.
No, I'm not thinking there's gonna be a lot of money. It's just a matter of, if you collect something, you should be able to spend it on what it needs to get spent on.
Would be payroll.
You could put it in that account, and then if they need be, they could always do a warrant article if there's enough money in it and they need to shift it to another one. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, the check, let's say, Acme Company is writing us a check. We're able to front the money from this account, right, for the fire watch. So we're using it for what we need to use it for. That check later on goes to the I always forget the name of it, the general fund.
Yeah, unexpended.
To the general fund. So it kind of balances the checkbook, I think. So,
Exactly.
so I'm gonna jump in here if it's okay, because okay. We're going around and around. Diane?
So I think Roger is actually correct from what Nancy read, that if you put false alarm money into this revolving fund, you cannot use it for anything. Maybe the option here, the best thing to do is to expand, take this article out and expand that Uniform Fire Watch Details revolving fund to include false alarm monies, and then rewrite that so that you can spend it on things like that to cover. But Rogers, I believe he's right, that you're gonna have trouble spending that. Even though it's minute, you're not gonna be able to spend any of it.
And this being the fire chief's warrant article, he should be speaking on this, not us.
So I'm going to make a motion, because there is another opportunity, February 5th,
Right.
to do this. So I am going to make a motion to recommend as written warrant article number 11
Second.
as a Board of Selectmen.
Roll call vote. Katie?
Nay.
Larry?
Aye.
Evan?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. 4-1.
That's you.
Oh, my turn.
Charlie, I can do 12 if you want, Charlie.
All right, it's yours.
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $30,363 for the following community services: area home care and family services for $3,800, child advocacy center for $2,000, drugs are dangerous for $2,500, Haven for $3,050, the NHSPCA for $750, Rockingham County Community Action $5,000, Rockingham Nutrition Meals on Wheels for $29.27, Rockingham Nutrition Meals on Wheels Transportation $700, the South Rock Coalition for Healthy Youth $4,936, Vic Gary Center for $2,700, and Waypoint for $2,000, for a total of $30,363. This article would result in estimated 0.047 increase per 1,000 of assessed value to be raised by taxes. The Board of Selectmen does or does not recommend this article, so we'll listen to the public at this point.
Public input?
I think what we always say with this one is, unfortunately, well, perhaps fortunately, most of us never need these services. Unfortunately, quite a few of us do. And the fact of the matter is, if we don't have it, if it's not coming out of this warrant article, it has to be found through other sources within the budget. So this is important stuff to be available in the town of Newton for people who sorely need it. So.
Okay. I move to recommend warrant Article 12.
Second.
Roll call vote. Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
You're a what?
I'm an aye. I'm in favor.
In favor, okay. I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Do you want me to read 13?
Me, my turn.
All right, your turn.
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate as proposed by the Recreation Commission the sum of $4,500 for the recreational programs and trips for Newton senior citizens. This article results in an estimated .007 increase per $1,000 of assessed value to be raised by taxes.
Public input? Jamie?
Jamie Fitzpatrick, Newton. I think I do this pretty much every year. Just to point out a couple of things is, it's not really this amount of increase in taxes because we did this last year, and the increase in taxes is what the difference of the two are. So it's even less than the 0.7 cents. The other thing is the seniors in town pay the full boat, just like everybody else, on their house assessment for school taxes, and they're not making use of school taxes. This is a very little bit that they get back in return, and we should be supporting it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine Kosmitsky, Newton. As a senior resident of Newton and as vice chair of the Rec Commission, I run these senior trips, and it's a small pittance compared to what we pay for school expenses and the children, which we gladly do. This is just a small payback for us seniors.
And Christine deserves some thanks because she's been doing this a while now, like about 7 years, something like that. And she always goes out of her way to make sure she's keeping the ideas fresh. She reaches out to the seniors to make sure that they are liking what's being planned, and she goes there and runs and these events and often rides on the bus and makes sure everybody stays seated on the bus and, you know, all that good stuff. So thank you, Christine.
I'll move to recommend Article 13 as written.
Second.
Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. You want to do 14? 'Cause you
Yeah, I'll
missed-
do 14,
missed
yeah.
out.
Number 14, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, as proposed by the Recreation Commission, the sum of $16,500 to hire 4 part-time lifeguards, 1 part-time supervisor of lifeguards, and to purchase the necessary safety equipment to oversee the safety of all swimmers at the town beach between May 2022 and September 2022. This article would result in an estimated .025 increase per $1,000 of assessed value to be raised by taxes.
Public input?
Joe?
Go.
Joe Simone, I'm in favor of this article, but the only thing I'd like to say is that if you could equip these people with some type of a radio where they can be in touch with the police department, because there's a lot of Massachusetts cars that are there throughout the season. And it's not fair, because I know a lot of Newton people that tried to go there and couldn't find a place to park. There's no other place to park.
Right.
And they actually do have a radio. He does give them a radio. I know that they try to react quickly to that stuff, but sometimes it takes a little longer, so.
So, any more public input? All right, at that time, a motion to have the Board of Selectmen recommend this article.
Second. Roll call vote. Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, Article 15, to see if the town will vote as proposed by the Board of Selectmen to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 to be paid towards the 2022 solid waste disposal budget as an offset to the recycling and deposit costs, and to authorize the withdrawal of $60,000 from the transfer station recycling special revenue account created in 2003 for this purpose. This article would result in no increase in the amount to be raised by taxes. Public input. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve this.
Recommend.
Recommend this.
Second.
Second.
Katie? Larry?
Aye.
Okay, Larry?
Aye.
Edmund?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Matt, 16?
16, to see if the town will vote as proposed by the Board of Selectmen to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 for the purpose of purchasing a dirt screener, with the $10,000 to come from the transfer station recycling special revenue fund created in 2003 for this purpose. This article would result in no increase in the amount to be raised by taxes.
Public input?
Danny Fitzpatrick again. Could you just explain what a dirt screener is? I don't know, and probably others don't either.
It's a machine that they take the crummy dirt with all the woods and the sticks in it, and they put it into another machine, and it shifts it and puts out a different grade of material, which can be given to the town or be sold. I know that there's something going on in Concord right now about food waste that they want to do. So that's what it does. It just screens the dirt out, like you screen loam for your front lawn. That's
Isn't
what
it like a sifter?
Yeah, it's a
And
sifter.
we need it for that big burn pile. It will ultimately save us money down the road.
Yeah.
And also potentially enable other uses of it that could be good for the town, compost and other stuff, but mainly to save money when we have to do the burns.
We'll get you a demonstration when you're out there, Jamie, next time you're at the transfer station. That's what I hear, so, you know.
Okay, I move to recommend this article.
Second.
Roll call vote. Larry?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye?
Edvin?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, Matt, you want to do 17?
So 17, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be deposited into the Skateboard Park Expendable Trust Fund created in 2021 for the purposes of repairing, constructing, reconstructing, and maintaining the skateboard park located in Greenie Park. This article would result in an estimated .015 increase per $1,000 of assessed value to be raised by taxes.
Public input? I've got something to say on it. Larry and I met with the state, I think, yes, state of New Hampshire last summer down at the park, and they're looking at giving us 50% of what we need. We're looking for a grant of over $100,000, and we got to match it. So they've got, I think, 25,000 or something in there.
Yeah, they've got a good amount already, yeah.
So if we keep working with this, then we'll end up having the money a little bit at a time. I haven't got any, and as far as I know, Larry hasn't got any contact so far, probably because of COVID-19, about what's going on right now, but it's in the works.
Good. I would move to vote to recommend this article.
Second.
As
Second.
Roll call vote. Larry?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Evan?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Number 18? Evan?
18, by petition of 25 or more eligible voters of the town of Newton, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,000 to support a lake host program at the Newton Town Boat Ramp for the 2022 summer season. The Lake Host Program is a collaborative between the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, NH Lakes, and local lake associations. It trains and employs individuals to provide courtesy boat inspections to prevent the spread of aquatic invasive plants, such as milfoil, from one lake to another, thereby protecting public lake use, such as swimming, fishing, and boating. This article would result in an estimated .003 increase per $1,000 of assessed value to be raised by taxes.
Public input?
Yeah, me again, like a bad penny. I'll just point out, similar to the seniors, there's extra taxes that people on the lake pay for having lakeside properties, et cetera. This is to help keep the lakes in good condition and not have invasive species come in so that the lake can be well used. So it's a very little bit to give back to part of our community that pays an extra stipend for being by the lake, and I support this.
Yeah, we all get to enjoy the lake. It's great for our town.
Maybe our drinking water in the future.
So is that little write-up on the CPLA, is that how it's going to appear on the actual warrant?
I had it right under the warrant article. DRA said you need to put the
Oh, they did,
selectmen's
okay.
recommendation for us.
They know better than we do, but I thought it looked kind of funny there.
I
but
did too,
if they
yeah.
say it's,
Want me to read that portion?
Yeah, you could.
So this is also, is it part of the article? Or is
It's
it?
not part of the article, it's explaining the article.
Okay, explains the article further. In 2021, Country Pond Lake Association, CPLA, of Newton organized the Lake Host program that provided over 509 hours of inspection time at the Newton Town Boat Ramp. In 2022, CPLA plans to expand that 565 hours of inspection time with a total cost of $5,300. Funding for this program will come from town sport via this warrant article, a matching NH Lakes grant, and CPLA member donations.
So it just goes to show that they've got other people that are chipping in. It's not just us paying for it.
And any other public input? Seeing none, motion to have the Board of Selectmen recommend this article.
Second,
Second.
Katie. Roll call vote. Matt?
Aye?
Edvin?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, 5-0. Oh, Katie, you want to do number 19?
Thank you. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate as proposed by the trustees of trust funds the sum of $150 for the purpose of increasing the stipend paid to the trustees of the trust funds from $750 to $900. Monies to come from general taxation, majority vote required. This article would result in an estimated .000, that's all zeros, increase per $1,000 of assessed value to be raised by taxes.
Public input?
I was waiting for it.
So wasn't I, Joe.
Good evening, Joe Simone, one of the trustees of the trust funds. We put this warrant article together only because over the past couple of years, there's been a lot of activity with the trust funds and a lot of going back and forth, driving to the banks and the town hall and stuff like that. And we feel it's just a compensation for all our times and efforts and whatnot.
Any other input? Yep. I'll move to approve, wait a minute, I'll move to recommend that we approve Article 19.
Second.
Roll call vote. Katie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye?
And I'm an aye.
And that concludes the warrant article.
And that's the end of it.
So
Given under our hands and sealed this 17th day of January in the year of our Lord 2022.
Now, you have an original copy that you need to sign, so you can,
Yeah, well, I messed it up.
oh, Charlie.
Charlie.
I just put all the votes on there.
The last page too?
I didn't touch the last page.
Let's
That's
sign
the
that.
one you signed. You did?
Yeah, but you signed it, though.
Jamie's,
Oh, no, you put a 5. You put a 5.
Jamie would like
I
to
was
see.
letting you know what the votes were.
Yeah, I've got them.
Well, I got them too.
there was one in your book I put it in your book, remember? I
That was
told you I
the
put it in your
original.
book.
This was in my book.
It's in your book.
We
This is
don't
the
have
one I
money
got.
for that, we gotta pay the,
This is the one I got,
Hey, Joe, if I
look,
print the
open your
page
book.
downstairs, will you go get
in
it?
here.
We'll print it,
Yeah.
Charlie, don't worry about it.
What's that?
It's not a
So,
big deal.
so the one
It
in
is.
his
Flip it over.
work binder, we can't use that one?
If it's not written on.
Hold on, stand by.
we gotta pay the trustees, okay? Gotta save some money.
As long as it's clean.
It's
I can
clean.
I can print one, Joe will go get it.
Mine's got 3 hole punches on it, so, yeah. We can listen to Jamie though, right?
Jamie Fitzpatrick, just a quick question. Are you going to be doing a voter guide again this year to kind of put some
We usually,
layman's terms and explanations behind some of the wording in the
All set.
warrant articles?
We're all
yeah,
set.
we usually do that.
Okay.
They got one.
I just wanted to
No,
verify you're
no,
going to be
they
doing
got one.
it. Thank you.
Did you hear what we just signed you up for, Nancy?
No,
The
but,
voter's guide again this year?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Evan, you gotta re-sign it,
All right.
because I blew it.
I would,
Stick that on there,
I left my pen downstairs.
official.
I would move to close the public hearing.
At 8:07?
What time?
8:07.
8:07?
There you go, 5.
Do I have a
Watch
second?
says 8:05,
Second me.
so doesn't
Oh,
his.
second. There we
Roll
go.
call vote. All those in favor? Katie?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Why is everyone leaving?
This is the best part.
Mike, we still have a whole meeting.
Thing two?
We can take a